global pandemic sweeps across the farms with its effects. The agriculture demand and supply chains have had to face the disruption. Poultry, horticulture, fisheries, cash crop production and dairy are among the heavily affected products in Uganda. With the widespread lockdowns, limited transport means and looming curfews, consumers rush into panic buying, leaving supermarket shelves bare or buying spoils when the markets are flooded from high supplies with low sales. In response, many city dwellers are being pushed towards home growing their food as a way of maintaining quality home supply while ensuring food storage. This is the basis of urban farming. Urban farming is crucial in providing essential foods for a home in the crisis today. But did you know that it could provide a payable avenue in response to the COVID-19 disruption? Tonight on Seeds of Gold, surviving COVID-19 under urban farming. Coming up on Seeds of Gold.
For us, we are here to demonstrate that urban farming pays. We are also here to demonstrate that you can keep cows in urban areas without inconveniencing your friends. Because many farmers keep cows, but you can tell almost a kilometer away that there's a cow somewhere. You don't have to inconvenience your fellow neighbors.
Dr. Jolie Kabirizi is a well-trained animal scientist. She is involved in urban farming as a major source of income. Starting out a half a decade ago, she is invested in fruits, vegetables, and animal husbandry. This is her story.
To me, urban farming is farming in a small piece of land. Just a piece of land, like here we have less than 0.5 of an acre. It's just about 0.4 of an acre. We have 7 cows, we have goats, then we have vegetable production. This is a fish pond. I started with 1 cow. It's just 1 cow. I got it in form of a loan. This loan for women. Unfortunately, it was killed by neighbors. Of course, those challenges happen. But for me, I always use the challenges to turn them into opportunities. I didn't give up. I saved some money, bought another cow, and somehow we have managed to, somehow I got to know the person who killed it, and that was a blessing in disguise. So, but then of course with the cows, I started other small projects. Whenever you get money, try to start up other, don't depend on one enterprise. Because like this time, many dairy farmers, especially for us urban centers, were not affected by the market. But then there are some farmers, like in Imbarara, where they have been depending on these milk tanks collecting milk. Milk is not being collected, and that's a very big loss.
One of Jolie's most profitable ventures on the farm is dairy production, a business that has not survived the impact of COVID-19 disruptions, especially for many commercial farmers, except for the case of Jolie.
Before COVID, it was very good. And in terms of the dairy enterprise, the growth, many people were going for dairy farming because, there's also saying that a dairy cow is the best tenant. Once you manage it well, you are sure of income every day. Unlike crops, because crops, you grow a crop, you have to wait for a season. But so many people, and especially the urban and peri-urban, where there's milk for market for milk, many people were going in for dairy. And the production was increasing day in, day out because people were adopting some of these improved technologies like use of improved feeds, conserving feeds in form of hay, silage and haylage. And then the farmers, there's also a group of young people who had taken up dairy farming as a business, not because they were keeping cows, but they were helping farmers to make silage, and they were getting a lot of money. But of course, there are so many farmers who have been affected. There are so many farmers who have been, of course, who are selling a lot of milk, and they were supplying milk to the schools, hospitals, and what? Okay, hospitals are still open, but the schools are closed, and the hotels. So the marketing has been affected very, very badly. Definitely those farmers they could do what they call value addition, but then you have to before you do value addition, you have to have a market for yogurt and all those. But people are now saving whatever little money they have to do what? To buy food. Even here, we used to have many customers. Of course, as much as we are still selling milk, we used to have so many customers, but some of the customers, they are trying to save the little money they have to buy food. Many of our customers we are getting now are customers who have no option because they have babies, they have young children who need milk very badly. A person like me, who is just sleeping next to my cows, has not been affected so much because I can still monitor the cows like I used to be. I can still tell the cow is sick, I have sufficient feeds.
Milk production is the main aim for cattle keeping. This production fluctuates based on a number of factors. In the crisis times, access to animal fodder has been a challenge for many. But this is where the strength of an urban farmer lies, because you will be used to a controlled environment to either produce, provide, or keep fodder for the cattle. Dr. Jolly says.
Yeah, in terms of production, of course, the production has been increasing, but then the production is a function of, in science we say the production is a function of genetic and environment. Genetic is the type of animal you are keeping. You are not going to keep local animals and expect a lot. But you can keep very good animals once the environment, and the environment includes the feeding, disease control, and other aspects. So I've really tried my best to make sure that interaction is constant. Feeding the cows, because you really have to feed the cows. Without the feed, and that's one of the challenges many farmers are facing, you are not likely to increase production. Yeah. Then the other aspect is the disease. Fun enough, the diseases, that has not been a major challenge to us because we vaccinate, we control because the major disease in urban and peri-urban centers is the mastitis. Mastitis is due to poor hygiene, and then the East Coast fever caused by the ticks. If you don't control the ticks, but we do that. I keep crossbreeds, and everybody wonders why a professional like me keeps crossbreeds. I have my reasons, and I always encourage farmers. You know, these pure animals are very good. They produce a lot of milk if you feed them well. The major challenge is they are so sensitive to management. They are so sensitive to diseases. They are not used to our environment. And you know, in terms of milk quality, especially like the Friesians, this black and white, the Friesians, in terms of milk quality, the butterfat content is very low compared to the crosses. So you have to argue with your customers. We think you are adding milk when water when you are not adding water. The crosses, they are easy to manage, very, very easy to manage. We have animals which are giving up 32 liters per day. And of course, production is not constant. You don't expect to get the same quantity of milk today and then tomorrow, because there's average, and it also depends on the stage of lactation, the number of lactations. Okay, on average, if it is second lactation, and because milk production goes up to around 4 months, and then it comes down. It comes down because at that time, the cow is in calf. So of course there is a challenge of feeding, and there are so many other factors. But if our animal at second lactation, about 4 months, it should be able to give us 30 liters a day. 30 liters, okay, between 25 and 30 liters, and those are crosses, yes. Because we use artificial insemination, so we keep on improving on our animals, and whenever we get an animal which is not performing well, definitely we carry it off. And here it's a must. We can call off an animal which has conceived, maybe produced 4 or 5 times, but I don't allow you to, because many people, you know, especially some of these farmers, they come and they want us to sell their animals, but when I know the animal is not good, I will not allow you to buy it. I'll make sure that I follow it up to the abattoir. Production has not been affected so much. First of all, of course, I foresaw those problems because this COVID issue has been on for some time. I really tried to stock a lot of feed, hay, grass, the dry grass. I really tried to stock like the molasses and the brewer's waste, the brewer's yeast solution, the sugarcane bagasse. All those are feeds that you can stock. Because we also, of course, now we have a challenge. Of course, okay, we have a pickup which can pick grass from the field, but sometimes it becomes very difficult because we have a field some 3 kilometers away from here. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. So, but all in all, I think we did our best.
While many farmers struggled with finding local market for their overproduce, Jolly's approach to maintaining quality milk production is what she attributes to a sustainable market.
The demand was higher than the supply. In fact, there was a time when we really had to make sure, because, of course, okay, what we do here is what we call controlled breeding. We don't serve all the animals at the same time. We only milk maybe about 4 animals at a time. So what we do is to ensure that they have milk throughout the year. You really need to build confidence. Don't add water. In fact, once you build confidence in your farmers, I have a customer who has been buying milk from us for the last 30 years. That farmer used to sleep around, but they moved to some 7 kilometers away from here. He is a customer, but they still come here because they are sure of getting quality milk. And how do you produce quality milk? Quality milk is not just a matter of having a good breed. The hygiene and the type of feed you give to that cow matters a lot. It can improve the production, but it can also improve the quality of the feed.
Coming up, the measures of quality production as a key consumer retainer. Contaminated milk can become a breeding ground for bacteria, yeast and mold. When polluted, milk quality quickly deteriorates. As its condition decreases, the chances of losing clientele grows. Thus, when running a dairy operation, the following tips will help to put milk in the tank that is clean and free from contaminants. Dr. Jolly recommends.
Hygiene women. If you see these yellow stickers, they are there because of partly to maintain hygiene. You don't want to go to a place where the place is full of flies. These are insect traps. So whatever fly comes, hygiene, like I told you before, there are times when you go to somewhere, just before some distance, you can always tell that there is an animal. Hygiene, many farmers are failing to maintain hygiene on their farms, and especially the zero grazers. You go to a farm, first of all, the place smells so badly. Then secondly, you go inside and you sell a heap of manure. That one alone can affect the quality of the milk. And then the other thing is manure disposal. How do you dispose manure in a place like this one, small place like this one? Definitely, we constructed a pit behind, cemented it, and that pit, every two, in fact, people come and buy some of the manure, but most of the manure is taken to Wunamaya, where we have a plantation. But there are many farmers, because the place is very small, they are failing to dispose of manure. You find they put manure in sacks, and then sacks are scattered all over the place. In fact, almost every 30 minutes, that manure is removed, put on a wheelbarrow, and covered. Then after when the wheelbarrow is full, it is taken behind, and then we put the manure in the pit. That pit is disinfected with a disinfectant. Yes, Kero. Kero is a very good disinfectant. It's very good. Yeah, it keeps away the bad smell, but it also keeps away the flies. Because in most cases, if you don't control the flies are one of the reasons that why we get bad smell and those type of, yeah, they are carriers of diseases and so many other things.
The quality of milk will also be determined by the quality of handling when producing the milk. It's therefore advisable to maintain these standards when milking.
The milking, how you milk, how you conserve. Of course, the milker must be clean when you are milking. If we have milking, of course, you have to use the milking salve. The milking salve, you have to make sure that you wash your hands clean. You have to make sure that you are wearing gumboots. You have to make sure that the milking can is clean, and all those sorts of type of.
There are different systems of feeding cattle in animal husbandry, which may have different advantages and disadvantages. Most cattle have a fodder that is composed of at least some forage. But what exactly should your feeding as an urban farmer involve if you are to compete with the rural farmers whose resources are readily available?
When you are keeping cows, you have to consider them as a member or members of your family. They need a balanced diet. You don't just feed any rubbish. They need a balanced diet. They need the grass, which provides carbohydrates. Unlike human beings, the animals, they don't have breakfast, lunch and supper. They are supposed to be provided with feed 24 hours, day and night. Some people ask, but do animals eat grass, eat at night? Animals in the paddock eat at night. Animals here eat at night. If you don't provide animals with feed 24 hours, then the production will go down. If the animal fails to eat, it might be a sign of disease. So you really have to make sure that you check and call a veterinary person to assist before you get more problems. You don't want to lose a cow of almost 4 million just because of just simple things like poor feeds, diseases and what.
Dr. Jolly cites possible opportunities in the crisis.
The major opportunity is on feed production because urban peri-urban farming is on the increase, and most of these farmers, 90%, they don't have sufficient land to grow pastures. So they are depending on what we call purchased pasture. Purchased in form of hay, haylage, silage. Hay is dry grass, silage is feed, that fresh feed conserved under airtight conditions. Haylage, these are crop residues like maize stover, which can also be conserved and sold as feed. When I talk about hay, this is the time, and especially for my friends, the young people, who sell their land, who sell their parents' land to buy border. Make use of that land. Get advice from the experts on how you can make use of that land to grow pastures which you can harvest and conserve into hay, because the demand for hay is very high and the price is going up every day. And for the crop farmers who are growing large areas of maize, after harvesting the maize, don't burn that stuff. You can also take advantage of what you call junk, and then you burn it, you cause environmental degradation. You can get advice on how you can conserve that what we call soil in Uganda, or maize stover. You can turn that stuff into very high quality feed, which you can sell, because at the moment a kilo is 500 shillings. All what you need is just somebody to chop for you, and you need molasses, all that. And the good thing, There's now a group of young people, in fact led by a certain lady called Martha Matov. That lady has made a lot of money. She's a very young, and she's a qualified engineer. She just resigned from her job, got a loan, bought a few forage choppers, and now her work is to move. You just call her. I have my 2, 3, 10 acres of maize stove. I have harvested the maize, the grain. I want you to come and help me to convert the residues into feed. She will come with her labor, chop and conserve. Feeding takes over 80% of the total cost of production, of producing milk. Without feeding, you will not get any profit. And definitely with feeding, that means you have to innovations. If you have been depending on like a planted pastures, you have enough pasture, you think you have enough grass, you planted so many acres, but all of a sudden you can't access that farm and those animals, but you can access the animals. This is the time to go in for innovations like hay, conserved fodders, innovations like this free brewers yeast solution.
More than 2/3 of the world's population is forecast to live in cities by 2050.
Nze Musisi James nga ndi mutuuze we Kasanga LC1 Namayumba Town Council Wakiso District. James ndi mwami mulimi. Ekintu kyensinze okugukamu oba okwagala kwe kulima ebitooke oba kye tuyita olusuku. Wabula nga okulima olusuku nga nkwasaganya oba nga mu lusuku olwo nnimiramu n'ebintu ebirala birukwatagana nabyo nga terubikosa ate nga nabyo biyamba olusuku. Muli okulunda ebiwuka ng'omuli enjuki, omuwuka ng'omuli ensiriŋŋanyi, n'ennimiramu ebisagazi, n'ennimiramu molinga, n'ennimiramu n'amayuuni agayitibwa obukupa. Ennima eyo ekwatagana oba eyamba ebintu okuba nga biyambagana oba nga bikwatagana. Nagiyiga nga mpita mu Anga Project Uganda mwe nayigira ennima eyo. Nayiga nti ettaka kitundu ku birime, ebirime kitundu ku muntu, omuntu kitundu ku bisolo. Era ekimu we kitali, ekimu tekitambula bulungi. Wabula ebiseera ebisinga omuntu afuna mu lusuku yeetaaga ebigimusa. Ebigimusa twagulanga bigule ng'emmotoka ya mitwalo 10. Ate ng'ennimiro ekitono yali yeetaaga emmotoka nga 5, kitegeeza gye mitwalo 5. Naye oluvannyuma lw'okuyiga ennima ey'omulembe, buli kintu kiyamba kitya ekirala. Nasobola okufuna ensolo, obusa mbujja mu bisolo byange obulabirira ennimiro y'ebitooke, ate ebitooke ne bimpa emmere y'ebisolo okuwa ebisolo. Ate ensaasaanya eyo era n'engikendeeza nga omuddo gwe nnimira mu lusuku ngukolamu emmere y'ebisolo nga silage ne hay. Kituuka ekiseera nga sisobola kuwa bisolo byange muddo ogwo gwonna, nemba nga ngutunda. Bwe ngutunda nsigala nnyingiza ssente, oba oluusi mpa abalunzi bannange abanneetoolodde omuddo ne bampa ebigimusa. Mu ngeri ng'eyo nemba nga nkendeeza ssente ze nasaasaanyanga gula ebigimusa. Ssente ezo ne ziba nga zigenda ku kirooto kyange. Ennima eyo neeyongedde ofuna ebintu nga nyongedde ku nnamba y'ensolo ze nnina. Yatandika n'ente emu, ndi mu nte 5, ninawo embuzi n'ebirala ssebo.
Hunger Project Uganda introduced a farming approach, an agroecological farming approach with the motive of fighting hunger and poverty among those smallholder farmers, using an approach of improving biodiversity level of different households. We are targeting improvement of the ecosystem in general, because every component, every agricultural component is supported by a friendly ecosystem. As Hunger Project set different components of fighting food, to ensure food security in households, to ensure that the biodiversity is improved in households.
Urban farming can improve food security and nutrition, reduce climate change impacts, and lower stress while providing an income.